Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Pitney Bowes webinar, Preparing for the New E-Commerce Landscape. I'm Aaron, your host, and your featured speakers are Rick Hernandez of Pitney Bowes, Rockwell Sands of ShippingSchool.com, and Clark Ransom of DesktopShipper. So I'll introduce Rick here before he introduces his compatriots. Rick Hernandez is the Vice President of Business Development and Commercial Innovation for the Global E-Commerce team at Pitney Bowes. Rick has 20 years of experience in technology, shipping, and logistics, having worked at successful startups that were acquired by InfoStamps.com, Newell Rubbermaid, and SunGard. Rick has 8 patents and was previously head of research and development, customer service, and business development at Endecia. So Rick, that is it for me. Over to you now to begin.
Thank you, Aaron, and good morning from Half Moon Bay, California, where we're on day 52 of shelter in place. I'm Rick Hernandez, and I'm joined today by 2 distinguished gentlemen scholars. Clark Ransom is the Chief Operating Officer at DesktopShipper, where he oversees day-to-day operations and manages strategic business planning. Clark works with some of the largest and most sophisticated shipping customers to deliver high-speed, high-volume shipping solutions that enable businesses to save time and money. Professor Rockwell Sands is a shipping guru and wizard of words. His frustration with boring and inaccurate shipping resources led him to shipping school, where every day he helps people get their ship together. With e-commerce growing rapidly each year, shipping is more important than ever, and he's on a mission to shed light on it so that small businesses can thrive. Now, we all know that the coronavirus has had a major impact on us and the global economy, and unfortunately, we all know people who've suffered from this terrible illness, and our hearts go out to them. Given the sensitivity of this topic, we wanted to use data to separate fact from fiction, and so we conducted a survey of 2,200 consumers in the last 2 days of March. Our conclusion? We are in the middle of a seismic shift, and those retailers who adapt quickly and strategically are the ones who will thrive. For starters, 9 out of 10 U.S. adults are concerned about the coronavirus. They're concerned about driving. They're concerned about leaving their house and getting sick. More importantly, from a retailer perspective, 3 out of 5 adults have changed their shopping preferences between in-store and online. So I'd like to take a survey question to get feedback from the audience here. So, if at all, have your delivery and shipping preferences changed from prior to the coronavirus outbreak? So we'll give you a few seconds to answer this question. Well, it's pretty consistent with what we've seen. Some people who are already shopping online have stayed that way, but people are definitely starting to move from in-store to an online experience. So it's pretty consistent with what we've seen. So here are the results of, here are some of the results of our survey. So we asked this question: how have your shipping preferences changed since the coronavirus outbreak? The dark blue on the left represents a net change in consumer sentiment, where people prefer to shop online. For some categories, you're seeing a doubling or tripling of consumer preference to shop online from where it was previously. And this is pretty consistent. I think we saw about a 26% sentiment of people who used to prefer in-store who now prefer online with our survey. And so we're seeing a very similar result here. Now, our friends at McKinsey have done a study, and apparel is one of the segments that is most impacted by changes in consumer sentiment. And apparel retailers need to figure this out quickly. 76% of apparel respondents have closed their stores. 18% are closed, but they're still doing some form of ship from store. And overall, 44% of respondents have completely shut down their operations. Now, this just isn't some hypothetical white paper for policy wonks with PhDs and chief marketing officers at Fifth Avenue retailers. This affects Main Street USA. In fact, If you go to Main Street, Half Moon Bay, where I live, you'll see that retail businesses are shuttered. Customers are staying at home, they're shopping online, they're buying different things, and they have changing expectations around how they expect to interact with the retail business. Traditional brick and mortar retailers and CPGs are scrambling because they have to find new ways to reach their customers. They have new business models, new operational challenges, and all of these things are happening at scale. This is my friend Monica's store. She operates a business called the Posh Moon. She's been on Main Street for many, many years, and she has built her business by catering to the needs of her customers through very personalized service, personalized shopping. She has created this authentic brand with her most loyal consumers. Now, her customers can't come into her store, and she's had to relaunch her entire business. So, she's put her catalog online, she's revamped the website, she's gotten people in her community and in my household to do some modeling for her. She's all in. But what happens when the orders start coming in? This is creating new operational challenges, not just for the big brands, but for the small brands. It's difficult to walk to the post office every day to drop off your packages when those orders start coming in. So this is making us think about things in an unprecedented way and at scale. Now, there are a lot of bad things that are happening. We've seen many of those headlines. But when we look back on this era, we'll see that some things have fundamentally shifted in profound ways that we can't even begin to understand now. It's like something out of a Charles Dickens novel. And while there's a lot of bad news out there, there are a lot of good things that give us hope. The dynamic and flexible nature of the U.S. economy, the indomitable spirit of Main Street business owners like my friend Monica, and the headlines and our data tell us this is happening. Now, to give you some insight, I helped relaunch Pitney Bowes' digital shipping business a few years ago. And, we've seen steady progression and growth year over year in this business. And I will tell you, in the last few weeks, it's absolutely skyrocketed. We've blown past our peak shipping season for 2019, and we're not sure when it's going to peak. We may be at that peak point now, but the question becomes, have we hit a new step function in e-commerce? Have we changed the way consumer behaviors have changed permanently so that there is a new normal? I tell you, I've been in e-commerce for 20 years, and I've never seen anything like the tsunami we're experiencing now. Now, here's the headline. More than half of Americans have become more comfortable with home delivery since the coronavirus outbreak. I've now got Instacart, Costco, CSA baskets from coastside farmers. I've got the USPS bringing more stuff to my house than ever before. And my porch looks ridiculous, right? We're leaving everything outside for a day or two, making sure it's hanging out there, but stuff's just piling up. And I got to say, I don't miss going to the grocery store to pick up milk and ice cream. What's interesting is I've actually got more time to spend with my family, and I don't think I'm going to give that up very quickly. Here's another headline from our results. 25% of Americans have either already signed up for a non-food subscription box, or they plan to very soon as a result of COVID-19. Now, I'm going to apologize for this eye chart. But this is really interesting, and we're going to share this deck with everybody. But this is one of the most counterintuitive things we've discovered. But the real gem, with a few big exceptions for groceries, alcohol, and toilet paper, consumers as a whole have become less sensitive to the speed of delivery for discretionary purchases. If I'm at home all day for some reason, I don't care as much about when that package arrives. I've already got a pile of them on my porch. I need toilet paper today. New Balance tennis shoes, those can wait till next Tuesday. It's fine. And part of this is driven, it's not just driven by my personal experience, it's also driven by the largest retailers. It's driven by Amazon, the largest marketplace, because they've shifted, they're holding back delivery times for non-essential goods. So all of a sudden, America woke up and said three things. I can order more than just Spotify on subscription. I can get toilet paper, soap, stockpile things until the next shipping assignment comes, the next scheduled shipment comes. We now want accoutrement, so we can look good on our Zoom calls. Tops, but not bottoms and shoes. Office supplies, home decor, consumer electronics. This is nesting. Consumers are looking for the right product soon over a good enough product now. DTC brands should be perking up at this. All other purchases, sporting goods, jewelry, footwear, those things can wait. Now, this is the time for replenishment goods and curated goods, for subscription box retailers to shine. Consumers are frazzled, and subscriptions take at least one decision off their plates. In some cases, it reduces stress in significant ways. I know I won't have to run to the store for detergent or cereal at the last minute. And if you look at going back to that, like the 25% of people who've already converted to a subscription box or who are planning to do it, let's take a look at that 11% who've actually made that decision. The people who've already switched over, they've told us 2 out of 3 say they are spending less money with non-subscription retailers as a direct result of taking on the subscription box and what's happening with COVID-19. Another headline, again, stuck at home. As long as I have my beer and my toilet paper, I really don't care how much all those other packages come or when they get here. I'll open them when I open them. And, you know, we're a little more relaxed about this, and we see this in the data, not just in the survey results, but we actually looked back on the same question we asked consumers back in October, and we can see a definite shift in the amount of times that people are looking to track their packages. So I'd like to take a minute to talk a little bit about returns, right? 1 out of 4 consumers have had to leave their home during quarantine to drop off a package. Amazon made me go to the UPS store, and I didn't like that. I'd already gone down my path. I'd already set up my return, and I didn't have an easy way to return it another way. So I had to go see my friends at the UPS store and drop that off. And you think about that from a consumer experience perspective. Do you really want to leave your home to deal with a return? It's not something you're excited about. After the coronavirus, more of us would much rather just pack a return ourselves and give it to our postman Cliff, or take it to the UPS store or post office. But we don't want to have to go all the way to the shopping mall. We don't want to have to go all the way to the retail store. And I would much rather have Cliff come to my house and pick up that package than have to drive to the little strip mall down the street where they have that UPS store. I want to take this off my hands. I'm happy to pack it up. I don't want to go anywhere. And that sentiment is pretty strong. You can see this bottom area here. You'd rather pack the item and have your mail carrier pick it up for you. That's the strongest sentiment from a returns perspective. And it's a definite shift in behavior for folks. Now, I've always been surprised at how consumers pay attention to returns policies. Maybe if I'm doing a big purchase item, I'll be really careful about it. But what's happening now, since the coronavirus has taken place, 1 in 5 adults have decided against purchasing a product online since the start of the coronavirus outbreak because it required a physical drop-off to return. Like that's a big thing for you to catch up to, right? People are changing their policies. We absolutely see it. They're extending their policies, but you need to look at switching out who your returns provider is. You need to either use a carrier who can do a scheduled pickup at your home, or who's going to come every day and pick up for you, because consumers are they're shopping with their hearts and their fear about getting sick. They want to hand this off to the post office and let him worry about this. Now, while we're at it, just to state the obvious, printing a return label is a friction point for 2/3 of consumers. So again, whatever you can do to make it easy for people, put the return label in the box, have a really simple workflow, but 28% of people don't have a printer. And 25% who do have a printer say, yes, I have a printer, but I've never used it to print a shipping label. And another group, 11% say, hey, it's not convenient. So this is something for us to pay attention to as businesses. And we have to find ways to help our consumers, our customers, have a better experience. I got a couple other headlines here we're going to go through. So what is the new normal? As always, the customer comes first. And nearly half of those people believe their purchase habits have permanently changed. So if I look at this, on the left-hand side, this is, I expect to shop in-store more often and after the coronavirus. So some people are going to change their expectations there. And on the right-hand side, I expect to shop online more often. So we're seeing a definite, on the right-hand side, a definite chunk of people who have said they've permanently shifted their preference in terms of where they're going to consume goods from. Now, we're going to be paying close attention to this, and we're going to be surveying customers in the future to see how strong that sentiment is. So what I can tell you is we're entering a new normal. You need to look at how you ship, who you ship with, how you service your customers. And as you're taking that on, how do you automate your business, and how do you manage orders from your e-commerce software and from your marketplaces? These are the problems we need to address if we want to better serve our customers. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Professor Rockwell Sands from shippingschool.com. Professor?
Thanks so much for that intro, Rick, and thank you for all this really amazing data. I'm going to take over here on this slideshow. And if you find yourself in the position like Rick's friend Monica in Half Moon Bay, and you're having to move your business online, and you're thinking to yourself, well, I've got these orders coming in, how do I get them out? That's what we're here for at Shipping School. So a little bit about who we are and what we do. Simply put, we're here to make shipping easy and fun for everybody. I'm not going to lie to you, it's kind of a complicated thing. Most people, when you ask them, hey, how would you send a package? They would answer, well, I guess I'll just wait in line for 5 days at the post office, right? And that is the wrong way to go. So at Shipping School, we're here to give that insight onto how to do things right to everybody, especially now that we're in the new normal where we can't really go outside too much. We write dynamic, engaging content for shippers by shippers. All of us who contribute are seasoned e-commerce vets who've literally shipped thousands and thousands of packages. And to be frank, we've done a lot of it the wrong way. But that's how you learn. You do things the wrong way so that you can tell others how to do things the right way. And we're a totally free educational resource. So if you're looking on where to get started and how to best get shipping your products out, go to shippingschool.com, open it up in a new tab and bookmark it. Stick around. We've always got new stuff coming out that's pretty interesting. The first question and sort of the holy grail for shipping, in our opinion, is which carrier you should use, right? There's 3 major carriers in the United States. And if you've ever been outside, you've seen their trucks. You've got the US Postal Service, or USPS for short. You've got UPS, and you've got FedEx. Now, in terms of small businesses and sort of quote unquote the little guy, which is what Shipping School focuses on, we think the premier carrier for e-commerce packages is far and away the US Postal Service. With them, you're going to get the best mix of affordable rates and quick delivery. And you're going to get, through shipping software, which I'm going to go through a little bit more in detail, you're going to get the best discounts possible. Think of it like going to Costco and getting the same thing for 90% off. UPS is really good for oversized shipments and emergency delivery. Anything that's super heavy, like weights or kettlebells that my roommate just got in the mail, UPS is going to be the carrier for that. And FedEx specializes in business deliveries and ultra niche parcels. Think frozen meals like Freshly or Blue Apron, things like that. Now, business owners are all about dollars and cents, and it all comes down to the almighty dollar, right? So we did a quick comparison the other day, and we took a 12 by 7 by 4 5-pound box, and we wanted to see how much it would cost to ship from LA to New York. And we wanted it shipped by a Monday and delivered by Thursday end of day. So if you go to the post office, you're going to pay $26.70 for this box at a priority mail retail rate. If you use shipping software, which I just sort of talked about a little bit, you're going to pay $9.56. That's at commercial pricing rates, which is what USPS reserves for huge shippers sending out 50,000 packages a year. That's just under $10. That's crazy. Now with UPS, you're going to pay $25.50 with what they call their simple rate 3-day select. They're also going to have residential and fuel surcharges that you're going to have to pay on top of the cost of postage. And with FedEx, the package is going to come in at $43.98. And that's the express saver with also residential and fuel surcharges. So for the same service, for the same box, shipped from the same place to the same place, the USPS shipping software is going to cost $10 compared to $25, $45, or even just under 27 at the post office. So that data kind of really speaks for itself there. Another benefit of using USPS to your advantage is that everybody knows it, right? And we take these polls every single year, and USPS is actually America's #1 favorite government agency. People trust it. And that credibility that the USPS has had since 1775, when Benjamin Franklin was the first Postmaster General, you can piggyback off that. And if you partner with them for sending out your packages, it's automatically going to instill trust in your consumer. You got to face the facts that when you're just starting out, a lot of people might not know about your brand. But if they see your products come in on a USPS truck, it's going to make you more legit in their eyes. I'm sure everybody has heard or seen the quote that a man is known by the company he keeps. So we urge people to apply that to their business as well. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Using free online USPS shipping software is the #1 way to lower your costs. It's free. A lot of the best shipping software is free out there, and you only pay for the cost of your label. So think of it like you have nothing to lose and everything to gain by saving so much money. Another way to optimize your costs is to keep fulfillment in-house. If you're just starting out and you have a few orders to ship, it doesn't make sense for you to partner with a warehouse. Just pick it and pack it yourself. And you're going to get experience that's going to be super valuable in the long run. We think a good way to save money is also to protect yourself with shipping insurance. If your packages get damaged or lost in transit, protecting yourself by spending $1 or $2 on insurance is going to save you a major headache in the long run and having to replace goods and whatnot. Like my mother always says, you got to hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. And spending that $1 or $2 in the front run is going to save you in the long run. And if you're curious about insurance, head over to Shipping School and search for insurance. We've got tons of articles there on the subject. It's kind of a complicated issue, so we won't get into it too much here, but feel free to do your own research and say hey to us on your way over there. So the theme of this slideshow, if you haven't guessed it, is that online shipping software is a must. Shipping software allows you to buy and print shipping labels from your own home or office. And you can schedule free pickups done by your letter carrier that are totally contactless. That's a huge buzzword right now with COVID-19. When you use this software, you don't have to see anybody, you don't have to touch anybody, although we're all kind of craving that right now. This is the new normal, right? So shipping software allows you to run your business as safely and as efficiently as possible. You can take advantage of these huge discounts I mentioned, USPS commercial pricing. You can integrate your site if it's powered by Shopify or WooCommerce or Magento or other e-commerce software like that. And there's special discounted mail classes that you just won't see anywhere else, like Priority Mail Cubic, which we're going to get into in just a little bit. And again, if you're kind of looking for a place to start, there's a lot of shipping software options out there. And depending on what you need as a shipper, there's going to be different ones that are right for you. So head over to Shipping School and search for shipping software to sort of give yourself a crash course. Just a little side note, if your store is not online yet, that's okay, but it's going to have to be soon. Like Rick mentioned, e-commerce is blowing up. The world was already moving that way right now, but unfortunately, because of the pandemic, it's really accelerated that catalyst. So think of it kind of like surfing on a tsunami, right? It's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And this threat to our way of life, I guess, if you want to think of it like that, is actually creating an opportunity for your store to get online and to take advantage of all the great resources that e-commerce businesses have right now with the internet. Platforms like Shopify make it super easy for you to just literally log onto their website, upload a few of your products, and start selling. And again, if you need a hand, if this all feels really overwhelming, head over to Shipping School. We've got tons of reviews for e-commerce platforms, so you can figure out which one is the best one for you. Choosing the right USPS mail class if you're shipping with the Postal Service is a huge, huge pain for us because a lot of people just ship with the wrong mail class, right? If you're shipping jewelry or lightweight items like clothing, under 16 ounces, the best option there is going to be first class package. Now, if you're shipping over 16 ounces of really lightweight stuff, you can use the Priority Mail flat rate envelope. What you shouldn't do is ship them parcel select ground or Priority Mail Express. If you need to get your products there lickety split, that's the best mail class, but that's going to be expensive. For anything over 1 pound, Priority Mail is generally going to be the best way to go. And if you're shipping books or DVDs, USPS actually has a special mail class called Media Mail, which you can literally ship for like $2 or $3 or $4 anywhere in the country. So what is Priority Mail Cubic? You've seen me mention this a few times. Likely you haven't heard of it because no one has. Priority Mail Cubic is a specially discounted USPS mail class that's based on your dimensions and not your weight. So think about that for a second. Every other mail class is going to be based on your weight. But Cubic, the rates are based on the size of your box. So you could have a 15-pound box of candles that's maybe 12 by 7 by 4. It's going to cost exactly the same to ship as if it were 3 pounds or 2 pounds or 18 pounds or anything up to 20 pounds. This is the best mail class out there because you can load up your boxes with as much product as possible. And as long as it's under 0.5 cubic feet, you can use shipping software to access Priority Mail Cubic. That is the biggest discount you will ever see. And if there's one thing you take away from this slideshow, is to use shipping software to take advantage of Priority Mail Cubic. A lot of people ask whether they should charge or not charge. We think offering free shipping is the best way to go. And there's a trick to it. Let's say your products cost $20 and your average shipping cost is going to cost $7. We say to build in that $7 on top of your product's prices, to just say, hey, it's $27 flat, but we offer shipping for free. Keeping fulfillment in-house, like I said, there's no need to outsource it when you're just starting out. It costs money that you don't really need to pay. When you fulfill your own products, time is really the only downside. The cool thing is, you can actually get your friends and family involved in the business too. Everyone's sort of looking for something to do right now. So we think that's also a nice activity that can ultimately lead to job creation. If saving money is a huge priority, you can use free USPS boxes to save more. Not a lot of people know that they can walk into the post office and just snag as many boxes as they want. You can also order them online too. And again, it's totally free. If you want USPS boxes, just go to their website and search for free boxes and see for yourself. On that note, if you don't want to use the free USPS boxes, investing in your brand really, really pays off. Customers want an experience and not just products to show up on their porch, right? I know if I get something and it's packaged in really, really cool custom packaging, I usually save that. Maybe it's just because of the industry I work in, but I think you never really get a second chance to make a first impression. And that's the best way to build loyalty for your customers. I don't know if you guys remember this iconic commercial with Andre Agassi, where he gets out of the Lamborghini and he says, image is everything. But that applies here too. Again, if you're looking for custom box packaging companies, go to shippingschool.com. We've got tons of them. So you graduated. If you're ready to get started, head on over to Shipping School. There's a little GIF of The Rock. Thank you, Aaron. We've got tips and tricks for saving money, really specific guides for shipping niche stuff like day-old chickens or plants and vegetation or even honeybees. And we've got all the reviews you could ever want. So head on over, say hey, and we're really looking forward to hear from you. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Clark, the Chief Operating Officer of DesktopShipper, who's the go-to guy for high-volume shipping and multi-carrier rate comparison.
Thanks, Professor Rockwell. I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe. I will be sharing how shipping automation can help with the current situation in e-commerce due to COVID-19. So first thing I'm going to start with is a poll here, and as everyone may have heard, Amazon closed FBA to non-essential items. So I'm going to go ahead and let people answer here and see what we get. Awesome. Wow, that's actually more people than I thought were going to answer yes. So FBA closing to non-essential items, from our standpoint and what we've heard from sellers, has affected many of them, and many of them were not prepared to bring that volume back in-house. They were not prepared to bring those items back into their warehouses, and that has caused a significant logjam. As Rick mentioned earlier, e-commerce order volume is up, and our sellers are seeing increases of at least 30 to 50% on average. The effect of COVID has also affected not only the order volume, but also staff. Whether an employee has contacted or contracted COVID-19, or they're just for the fear of contracting it, they are not showing up to work. And what that leaves is business owners in a predicament where they may not have been fulfilling those orders, and they may have had people doing that for them, whereas now they are actually having to step up and do the shipping themselves. We have, I've heard from many sellers that husband and wives are having to step up and show up to the warehouse every day and do shipping themselves. Why that's important is with the volume increase, it's almost double compounding the fact that you have to keep up with that volume increase, and then you're short staffed. So that hurts twice as bad. So reasons for automating the shipping and how that helps with the situation currently with COVID is a lot of it results around time and money. In the e-commerce industry, customers expect their shipments fast. They expect them to be cheap. With shippers, you expect to ship things efficiently. You need to have speed in terms of getting your packages out the door to the consumers, meeting their expectations there. And if you have delays in that or inefficiencies, those things cost you time and they cost you money. And as you can see here, automation can reduce the time it takes to ship a package out the door and increase your throughput.
I just want to jump in there, Clark, and just say, if you look at some of these really large businesses, even a small business can benefit from this. We, as a large fulfillment operation, we've upgraded some of our shipping software in our four walls, and we've seen tremendous gains in productivity. And similarly, even small customers that are making that transition from, hey, 10% of my orders were online to now 50% or 90% of my orders are online, and that volume is spiking. This is just going to save you time, but it's not just about saving you time, it's about doing it more efficiently, so that, if there's a cutoff to drop off those packages, like our local post office, you got to be there by 5:30 or have the carrier come by 3. If you use shipping automation software, you can get all those orders processed, you get the label ready to go, and you've saved a whole day or 2 days from a delivery time perspective because you're more efficient. And then you also don't have a bunch of boxes sitting around your retail shop.
That's exactly right, Rick. And in time and money go hand in hand. Anytime you have inefficiencies, there's possibilities for mistakes. There's possibility for increased overhead. All these things count into the profitability of shipping out each individual package. And the goal is to make that spread more significant so that your costs are low and your profit is high. So when we think of shipping, simply put, we think it is pick, pack, and ship. That's the term that's pretty commonly used across the industry. But what we don't realize is there are so many more factors that go into that. Starting with picking. When you pick, do you produce a pick list? Do you have shelf bin locations in an efficient manner? When you print your pick list, are those ordered in that efficient manner so that you don't have someone walking around the warehouse errantly, going to the same location multiple times? Do you factor in kit assembly items? Do you factor in expiration dates? Or do you need even item pictures? A lot of sellers have different variations of their items. And sometimes the only way to know that they're picking the correct item is having a picture on the pick list of that item. From a pack slip standpoint, do you display branding on there? Do you have multiple brands? How do you efficiently pick which brand you're shipping for at the time of shipping? Are you having to do that manually? Do you look for gift messages, or are you watching out for whether you need to display the cost of the item on there? So if this is a package someone ordered for someone as a gift, do you manually have to go and remove those from your packing slip each time? These are things that people don't understand are decisions that have to be made at the time of shipping, or maybe they do, but they're still decisions. And with decisions from a user leads to possibilities of mistake. And that may lead to a customer never coming back to order from you. You may have lost that customer. Once you make a mistake, you may have lost that customer forever. So it's important that when we look at these things in terms of picking, we automate them. This reduces the chance of mistakes. You have your brand, your packing slips automatically apply the correct branding, automatically display gift messages, automatically remove the cost displayed with the items if it's necessary. And next we come to packing. So once you've picked the items, how do you verify that you have the correct items? Are you touching these items again, so a second touch point? And with shipping software, if you don't have item verification, that can lead to shipping the wrong item to a customer, which can double your expense. Now either you have to refund the customer, you've lost the product, you've lost the postage cost for that, or you have to send them a return label and send it back to yourself. Now you've doubled your postage costs, and you're most likely not profitable on that package. Box choices. How does the shipper decide which box to pack this in? Rockwell talked a little bit about how the efficiency of using cubic pricing and cutting down the box size for shipping can significantly reduce your cost. But how do you do that efficiently? Is it an eyeball test with the user that's doing the shipping? Are they just looking at it and saying, I think it fits here? Or do they have some form of automation that helps them make that decision so that, that the size of the box doesn't cost you an extra $3 surcharge? Because many carriers do charge that. And next, the most important part is shipping. So knowing how to ship, there's many different ways to ship, whether you're batch shipping, processing one-to-one. It's important to understand what's the most efficient process for you. If you're shipping 1,000 orders of the same item, batch shipping is probably the way to go for you. All the items weigh the same. It doesn't really matter which item goes in which box at that point. But if you're shipping one-to-one and you have orders that are multiple items in each order is unique, and the box sizes are all going to vary, well, now one-to-one is probably the best process. How do you efficiently decide which is the best service to ship this package? What did my customer select in terms of their shipping method? What's the expectation of when this package should be delivered to them? Is it a 2-day package? Is it a 3-day package? All these things come into factor when you're choosing your service option. And when you have thousands of packages stacked up next to the shipping station, all the shipper's doing is looking over going, oh my, I have so many packages to get out the door. I'm going as fast as possible. Now you're setting yourself up for mistakes to happen. selecting the wrong service one time can make a $3 charge, or add a $3 charge to that postage cost, significantly raising the cost of that shipment and cutting into your profit margin, or even losing money on that package. How do I know what I accepted in terms of on the order at checkout? What was my allotment for shipping? Does my shipping cost now outweigh my shipping allotment? Those are things that all have to be considered. Do I have to add insurance to this package? Is the value of this product high? Is the shipper going to remember to check that and add it manually? These are all things that can help be solved with shipping automation and allowing the software to make these decisions for you. And one of the most important pieces that really gets missed is order management. Order management and shipping software go hand in hand. You cannot ship a package without the order. And so determining how you get that order into your shipping software, whether it's a CSV, whether you have integrations to your cart system or your marketplaces, order management plays a key part. So again, multiple stores, being able to sync orders into one centralized view, being able to sort those orders together so that you can pick efficiently, not having to switch between one brand. Many sellers have different names and branding on their different stores. Some of them have multiple Shopify stores, BigCommerce stores. These things are hard to keep track of at the time of shipping. So shipping software and order management allow that to become automated. And most importantly, shipping rules. Shipping rules allow you to pre-configure based on what your business owner wants to accomplish in terms of their shipping. What is the service that you're selling to your customers in terms of shipping? A lot of studies show that if you do not meet the expectations of your customers, they are not going to shop from your brand. And with Amazon holding a pretty high standard in terms of, pushing people to 2-day shipping, customers are now expecting fast shipping. With COVID, that has changed a little bit. And in terms of how do you know when to ship fast or when not to ship fast? Do you leave it up to the shipper, or do you allow your business rules to automatically apply those for you? That's where shipping software importance comes into play. And address validation. One of the biggest mistakes are shipping to wrong addresses. Address validation can play a key factor in shipping with UPS and FedEx, whether a package is residential or commercial, can swing that postage cost anywhere from $2 to $3 to $4. So understanding that ahead of time and how you manage that is very, very important. So to overall, syncing order from your marketplaces, having the shipping software bring those in, organize those, apply your carrier routing rules to them, address validating, connecting with different carriers such as Pitney Bowes, even just comparing regular priority mail, first class versus flat rate options can save you significant amounts of money in postage and time. So I'll finish up here. If you're looking to get a free consultation on how to automate your shipping, if you're not sure if you have the right amount of automation, you can reach out to DesktopShipper and we will work with you, understand your business, and help you understand where your trouble points are. And from there, I will hand it off to Aaron.
All right, so jumping to the first question, Rick, we're gonna start with you. And the question asks this: some of these solutions seem very expensive. How do I make the right choice?
Sometimes it's more expensive to not make a choice. I'll give you a simple example. If you spend $100,000, if you sell $100,000 worth of stuff, right? So you're getting some good success. You've moved some of your volume online, and you're now selling $100,000 of merchandise. Typically, with many businesses, the two of the biggest variable costs in what you do tie into one, how much you pay your sales team or yourself. So as the owner of the business, are you going to take home any money? And the second thing is shipping. Every dollar you save on shipping literally goes into your pocket. And so if you're spending $10 or $12 or $15 to ship something that you could ship in the same time, the same quality of service, the product arrives in the same manner, and you could do that for $5, you've just put another $10 in your pocket. You repeat that over and over again, you're going to save a lot of money. Now, it really depends on what's happening with your business, right? And so the way I would look at it is simple rule of thumb. If you're shipping 50 packages a month or more, you should be looking at software, period. You can go look at some of the free things that are on there. You can go to the marketplace tools. If you look at what Etsy or eBay have, they've got a pretty good experience on those platforms for shipping. But if you need something to manage orders from, maybe you're using Squarespace, or maybe you're using some other point of sale system that you're trying to pull orders from, you just need to look at how those things are coming in and what can help you manage those things more efficiently. But 50 orders a month, you should absolutely be looking at some type of software. If you're doing more than 500 orders a day, you should be looking at something more sophisticated, like a higher end piece of software, because you will save a lot of money and you'll save a lot of time.
All right, very good. And this next question will go to the full panel. And Rick, we'll start with you, then Clark and Rockwell jump in after that. The question here is, what are you seeing from top brands right now to go on offense and drive their business in this new Corona economy? What does offense look like in this climate?
You know, it's interesting. Sometimes the best way to play offense is to play a little defense. And so I think about my consumer experience with companies like Costco, with Ace Hardware, and they've done a really good job of encouraging different ways to get packages. Costco is doing a lot of shipping direct to you, so you don't have to go into the store, and you can get that replenishment from them either directly by ordering through Costco or by using an Instacart solution. Same thing for Ace. If you need some hardware supplies, they've got a great website. You go on there and you show up in the parking lot, you call the store, and people come out with a mask, they put stuff in the back of your trunk, and you can drive off. So I think that people who are responding to consumer needs in creative ways to make people feel comfortable and safe, I think that really helps. It goes back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Safety, eating food and being safe are some of the most important things we have as consumers. And so when you appeal to that, you're going to win with customers. Rockwell?
Yeah, to piggyback on what Rick said about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I know personally I've seen a lot of businesses that have pivoted into making face masks. I know Etsy CEO Josh Silverman said that he urged all of Etsy sellers to basically stop whatever it was they were making and to make only protective face cloth masks for people. And I've talked to people who now, prior to the pandemic, were shipping maybe 5 to 10 orders a month that are now doing thousands of orders a week for face masks. So again, like I mentioned before, it is an unfortunate reality that we're living in, but it does create opportunities for a lot of e-commerce businesses to spring up and take action. And I thought that was a really cool response from a lot of sellers to pivot and shift. And then obviously, like Rick said, you save the money by shipping with shipping software. Every dollar that you save goes into your pocket. And I'm seeing this every single day now, and who knows when it's going to stop.
All right, so Clark, feel free to comment on that one, or you can go to the next question, which asks, what do you mean by brand management and how do you incorporate it into the logistics process?
Yeah, so I'll touch on the first question, just kind of second what Rockwell was saying, is we're seeing more and more companies jumping into making masks, doing hand sanitizer. Those are obviously huge needs in the community right now. And, we have multiple t-shirt companies that have transferred their manufacturing over to masks. I have one of them that's producing 1 million masks a day right now, whether they're supplying those to hospitals, things like that, or just to stores such as large brands, maybe possibly Costco and store where there's employees that need these masks. What we're seeing is there's everyone's wearing masks right now when they're working, but when you go into say a restaurant, say we go into Jersey Mike's and you see that they're all wearing different masks, where something that we're seeing now is trying to provide those, and they're almost becoming part of the uniform now. And we may see that ongoing after the coronavirus may die down due to the fact that it may pop back up. The unknown is there. So this may be the new norm. And so to be offensive, customers are jumping into that space and really may stay there. So and to the second question, how do you incorporate your brand into logistics? Well, Rockwell touched on packaging. Packaging is a huge one. Anywhere your customer can see your brand is important. It just shows them, it reminds them, it sticks in their head. Having a catchy box is important. But not even that, but on your packing slip, having the right logo, having the right message at the bottom of your packing slip, what's your return policy? All those things represent your brand and how your customer interacts with you. So it's very important to have software that supports that brand management, allowing you to handle those different components of shipping.
All right. Lastly, in closing, Rick, Rockwell, Clark, thank you, the three of you, for sharing your expertise. To everyone who's watching, you could have been many places this past hour. We thank you for choosing to spend it here with us. So this concludes our Pitney Bowes webinar. Have a great day, everyone. And with that, we are done.